welcome to the Lighten Up podcast with Lauren Polly, your invitation for living on the lighter side of life. I'm Lauren Polly, and I am delighted you have chosen to join me today for episode 179, Reconnecting to the Beauty of Life. This is such a delicious energy that I want to insert and invite into your worlds today. It's something that I kind of have a strong knowledge base or a strong desire for and have spent a lot of my life steeping myself in. But it's kind of funny how often that gets lost for the day-to-day grind or the wanting and the desiring to achieve something. What I mean by that is so many of us actually have a deeper desire and a deeper awareness of the beauty of life, of the small moments that really make the entirety of our life sing, adding a rich quality to it, a layered and a texture quality, and more than anything, an enjoyment quality to it. There is a sense of peace, there's a sense of possibility, and there's a sense of wonder about a fleck of light catching your eye, or a beautiful interaction you have with someone touching you deeply, a creative project that you can perceive actually rippling out into the future. Just the ability to really be more present with those subtle, delicious, spacious energies, and how often that gets overtaken by the way other people choose to live their life. This, for me, I think has been huge in the last week or two. I've been really looking at how can I reconnect to that energy. And perhaps it's not even a reconnection, it's just the invitation for it to dive deeper into my life. As you get busy, as you move about the world, as you engage with more people, it's, again, kind of fascinating how often you give that subtle, energetic, spacious world up to be able to kind of attend or interact or engage with people who are living more in trauma drama. They're living a bit more on the surface of life, where the beauty and the subtle energies and the peace and the ease really isn't kind of top priority for them. It's not an energy that they have steeped in. It's not one that they choose to create from. And because of that, when you go to interact with them, oh my goodness, before you know it, you're getting pulled out of your peace and the beauty that you see in order to be able to meet them where they are. What if that could be different? What if you actually could engage with the beauty and the space that you know is possible and also create and live in this world as you need to? There are a lot of different examples for this, and look for yourself as we chat. Where have you, instead of putting yourself in the way of beauty, in the way of those moments that light you up and make you wonder and add a sense of peace and ease and deliciousness to your space, where instead do you follow suit and put yourself in the way of problems to solve? In the way of trauma and drama, like you see two people going at it, and before you know it, you insert yourself into the middle of the dynamic. Where do you go towards the hard road instead of the easy road? And where perhaps do you put yourself on that autopilot, that hamster wheel, thinking that if you just live your life by checking the boxes, completing your to-do list, making yourself super busy in order to achieve something someday, where you may follow that instead of actually taking the space that would allow beauty to enter your life on a day-to-day basis. It's kind of a fascinating thing when you do have this different sense of possibility. And perhaps if you haven't acknowledged that you do, now may be a good time to actually do that. Where has the light of the changing sunset or the sunrise arrested you, made you stop and actually just appreciate the beauty of the planet? Where have you had a very kind or fun, playful interaction with somebody and actually allowed that energy to ripple out and be totally present and grateful for it? Where have you been in the middle of creation and you could actually perceive that starting to bud and grow? And again, where did you allow yourself to be present with it? Have the gratitude and actually allow it to be so. We've all had those moments. We've all chosen those moments here and there. The invitation with this to reconnect to the beauty of life is to actually allow yourself to do it more frequently. That this can actually become a pinnacle energy in your world, one that is the hallmark of how you live your life, one that is the basis for your relationships, your business, your creations, and the way that you are with yourself and your body day to day. So now, having acknowledged where you have done that before, look at the flip side. How often do you give that up in favor of problem solving, of the drama, of the busyness of life, or where you give up what you know is possible because other people around you either aren't capable of it or choose not to be capable or aware of it? When you actually put yourself in environments that are more electrical based, there are more problem solving, there are more trauma drama, there's always something to achieve and work for in a way that has more of a fighting quality to it. It doesn't have a sense of presence. It doesn't have a sense of gratitude. It doesn't actually have a sense of creation, of actually being here in the moment to enjoy it and to see what is possible. All of those things are kind of how this reality is structured. You may notice yourself at work getting swept up in that. I know me working in a hospital, that's kind of part and partial. It's stat all the time. It's very, very busy. And with that, it's very easy not just to lose present with the beauty of the moment. It's also very easy to get swept up in that so dynamically that all I can really see and be aware of is the thing that has to get done or achieved right in that moment. It's almost like the sense of space and having the bigger picture and allowing ourselves to enjoy the bigger picture as we ooze and ease through our daily grind gets lost. It's a very different way of functioning. And for those of you who may be newer to these conversations, I know it may sound a bit out there, but imagine having more of a sense of peace even when you're busy. Imagine having more of a sense of possibility even when you're in the middle of people who are only choosing upsets and problems. Imagine having more of a sense of yourself even when you're in the midst of a herd of people who are pushy and judgmental and are trying to pull you along for the ride. For me, the sense of beauty of living is really having yourself, allowing yourself to steep yourself in this energy that is softer and more nourishing and nurturing. It is self-care at its finest. And it is also self-care at its deepest. A lot of us look at self-care as an isolated thing where we go to the spa or to a yoga class or sit in meditation. And we do that, and before we know it, we get up and move about our day to day and lose that sense as we get swept into the drama of this world, the noisiness, the electrical, pushy component of it. What if instead you could actually take whatever practices that you had to relax and nourish yourself and infuse every moment with it? That's actually a very different skill set. It's a different technique. It's actually allowing yourself to reconnect to the beauty of life. And that has to come first and foremost from your acknowledgement of it. Your acknowledgement that you know something different and that you have the possibility and the capability of creating your life as that. And from there, it's really the demand that no matter what you're going through, you don't give that up. You actually allow yourself to have that first and foremost. So next time you find yourself in trauma, in drama, in fight, getting swept up in your to-do list, your busy list, and losing the sense of that bigger picture, leaving out a sense of yourself and your peace and your possibility, you go, wait a second, I know something different, and allow yourself to recalibrate to the moment. Also, beyond all that, as an added practice, not just the acknowledgement and not just the choice to come out of the trauma drama back to the sense of beauty, but actually allowing yourself to put yourself in the way of beauty more. This is where conscious choice and conscious action come to play. Imagine waking up in the morning and making conscious choices of actually putting yourself where there is a sense of peace, where there's a sense of possibility, where there's a sense of you having you. And sometimes that looks a bit different. You know what I mean? Like me, I can think of as an example of being at work, and I can put myself in the way of beauty by having a lunchtime to myself, by taking an ergo walk we talk about, where ergonomically you can get up from your desk for a little bit and walk around. I choose to do that outside to get a sense of peace in nature and recalibrate. It's making the choice to eat lunch with an expansive group of people where the conversation is one that lifts you up, and not making the choice to have lunch with a group of people where the gossip and the drama bring you down. It's the choice to actually move about your day in a way where you are spacious, relaxed, and present, and don't allow yourself to get looped up in the drama and the rushness of it. It's also the choice, and maybe the bigger choice, to actually change some of your relationships, change some of your environments and your daily habits to put yourself in the way of things that give you a sense of space and peace as you move about it. So there are different ways to actually work with this. First the acknowledgement comes about of like, cool, I know a sense of peace and possibility. There's a sense of beauty to my life when I can actually look at something and be present with it and allow it to lift me up, allow it to change me and the people around me. It doesn't have to be an isolatory thing either. Look at the people you've actually touched in conversation, social engagement, play, creativity, where you actually have that as well. Take all of that acknowledgement that you have now as you move through the day, keep reminding yourself of it. Every time you give it up, every time you get pulled out of it, every time you forget about it, remind yourself and go, no, no, no. Recalibrate, come back to that sense of beauty, peace, and possibility. And as that added step, actually start looking at where you choose to spend your time, who you choose to spend your time with. That's a huge thing here, and start asking the question, how could I put myself in the way of beauty more frequently? What different choices could you make for yourself? What different people could you surround yourself with? How could you shake up your routine? How could you actually have more engaging conversations, more of a sense of peace and ease? Take your practices, quote unquote, off the mat a little bit. So it's not about self care and isolation. It's about self care as you move and groove throughout your life path daily in every single moment, and having all of your elements of your life match that. Imagine living a life where that sense of peace and ease and possibility and really the beauty and richness of life showed itself through your finances, through your business, through your creative pursuits, through your body health, through your sense of yourself, your self-esteem, your self-worth. What could be different from there? It's fascinating. So many of us go thinking that if we can just do our to-do list and achieve something greater and meet some sort of benchmark we have set for ourselves, some external goal, that's when we can actually have the beauty of life and the peace and the possibility. So we spend our day to day grinding and grinding and fighting to get there. This is something super different. This is actually allowing you to have that thing you've been reaching for right here, right now. That is actually how you create a life built on that energy. It's not about the achievements. It's not about someday. It's about today, choosing it in this very moment and having that conscious choice to actually do so repeatedly. If you can practice that, and I mean practice it and actually build the muscle, you may be so surprised and utterly delighted with how your living and your life look like in a year's time, 4 years' time, 10 years' time down the road. This is really and truly a building block of having a life that is filled with beauty, peace, possibility, and an enjoyment rich quality that perhaps you've been seeking in other areas, but have been hard to kind of harness and nurture up until now. Have an amazing week. Please play with this possibility. Put yourself in the way of beauty and don't allow yourself to get swept up into anything but that. Allow yourself to relax into what you know is possible and to actively choose towards it and to have the ability to say no to things that actually fight against that. And as always, I will chat with you next Tuesday.